Surviving the sex industry, 10:30 a.m. tomorrow.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Don Tolleson, Dave Roberts, and Jim Gardner.
Monday night, it's a major cocaine bust down south with a Philadelphia connection, and a deadly dose of cyanide-laced Excedrin has a woman from Seattle facing life behind bars. But the big story in Action News tonight is an Action News exclusive. It is a firestorm of controversy inside Philadelphia's Firefighters Union. It is a story of political infighting, and the battleground is the union's finances. Harry Martin has details in this exclusive report.
Did former union officials of Firefighters Local 22 misspend thousands of dollars of union funds over the last 3 years? Action News has learned that is exactly what current union president Les Yost wants to find out. And it's just one of the reasons that he called for this special report completed in March.
It showed that there was impropriety in the spending of the money.
How much?
Could be as high as $80,000.
Yost says that thousands of dollars may have been overspent during the former administration of John McMenamin. Yost claims that the audit shows double dipping on the part of some former union members. He says they also engaged in a practice called kiting.
The most blatant one that I can think of is a $3.95 turkey club sandwich and a club soda that was kited to $156.
But former union president John McMenamin says it's all a political witch hunt. He denies all of the charges. He says they are designed to divert attention from an investigation of Yost himself. Action News has confirmed that Yost is under investigation by the police department and by the Inspector General's office. Investigators refuse to give details. Yost says he has done nothing wrong, and investigators have not contacted him. Ironically, Yost was vice president under McMenamin, but says that he had no idea that union funds were being misspent.
Because Local 22 is, by tradition, the finest and cleanest and best union in the city of Philadelphia.
So how could something like this happen?
I don't know.
Yost says the former union officials of the previous administration now have about 2 weeks to come here to union headquarters and explain the questionable expenses. If they do not, they could face civil action, or the union might even file criminal charges. Meanwhile, sources tell Action News that the investigation concerning Yost should be completed in 2 weeks. It may add more fuel to the fire in what was, up until now, one of the most peaceful unions in the entire city. Harry Martin, Channel 6, Action News.
Elsewhere on the labor front, by this time tomorrow night, we should know who will be the next president of Philadelphia's powerful District Council 33. The rank and file will vote tomorrow night. And of course, the big question is, will President Earl Stout be able to hold on to the reins of power? Stout has apparently lost his fight to keep the International from supervising this election. Stout's challenger is James Sutton, president of Local 427. Sutton says Stout used to be an effective labor leader, but Sutton claims that Stout has now forgotten his men while dealing more for himself. A federal judge has continued a temporary restraining order that holds part of Pennsylvania's new abortion control law. The order continues to block the provision that says women under 18 must get permission from their parents or a court order to have an abortion. Action News reporter David Henry spoke to advocates on both sides of the issue tonight.
Had he not done that, tomorrow, for example, the parental consent provisions of the Act would have gone into effect, which would have had very serious effects on minors' ability to obtain abortions.
I am outraged. I cannot believe that we claim to live in a democracy and have an abortion control act that passes overwhelmingly in the House and the Senate. The governor vetoes it, it comes back, passes again, he signs it, and then one judge can overrule the will of the people and, you know, tie it up in the courts.
The restraining order will remain in effect until the judge rules on a request for a preliminary injunction, and that could be in about 2 weeks. Jury selection has begun in the gay-bashing murder trial of 2 men from Bucks County. Action News was in Bucks County Court in Doylestown, where 24-year-old Richard Laird and 20-year-old Frank Chester are facing charges of murdering 26-year-old Anthony Milano of Levittown. Prosecutors say the defendants killed Milano because they thought he was gay. Milano's parents are still visibly shaken by their son's murder. The case is being tried by Bucks County DA Alan Rubenstein. He says he is seeking the death penalty. The jury will continue deliberations tomorrow morning in the Nicky Scarfo murder trial. The late word from Action News reporter Karen Friedman.
Hey, Nicky, how's it look? Reputed mob boss Nicodemo Scarfo ignored questions when police led him out of City Hall and back to jail tonight. After a month of testimony, the jury must decide if Scarfo and 8 co-defendants are guilty of the 1984 murder of associate Salvatore Testa. They deliberated 2 hours and 50 minutes tonight before the judge told them to go back to their hotel, eat dinner, and deliberate more only if they felt like it. So for now, attorneys can do little as they wait.
Usually drink. Small quantities. If there is a verdict, if they reach a verdict, and I'm not saying that they will, or they're ready, it will not be announced till tomorrow anyway. So there's nothing for us to do.
In final arguments today, Scarfo's attorney attacked the credibility of the government's 2 key witnesses. Of mobsters turned informants, Thomas Del Giorno and Nicholas Caramandi, Robert Simone said, quote, "These 2 men, by their own accounts, have lied in other proceedings. So I ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, when were they lying and when were they telling the truth?" But prosecutor Barbara Christie wasn't intimidated. Standing just inches behind Scarfo, she pointed at him and said, You are guilty of murder in the 1st degree.
Do you feel confident at this point? I let the jury tell me. I never preview.
Regardless of whether or not the jury reaches a verdict tonight, the judge has ordered them not to report back to City Hall until 9:30 tomorrow morning. If at that time they do find Nicodemo Scarfo guilty, he faces the death penalty. I'm Karen Friedman, Channel 6 Action News, City Hall.
2 men from Philadelphia have been busted for cocaine in South Carolina. The State Highway Patrol in Columbia, South Carolina, has seized 2.5 pounds of cocaine worth $500,000, $15,000 in cash, 2 handguns, and some gold jewelry. Arrested were Thomas Holly, age 30, and 34-year-old James Hart. Police say they were speeding on I-95 in Jasper County, and police discovered the drugs when they pulled the car over. The Coast Guard found only 1/10 of an ounce of marijuana on board this luxury yacht as it was making its way to southern Florida. But that was enough for the Coast Guard to seize the craft under a new federal policy. The yacht is based in Philadelphia and belongs to a company in Delaware. The Coast Guard found the 2 marijuana cigarettes, butts even, during a routine inspection. The search and seizure policy will be a windfall in this case. The boat is valued at $2.5 million. The state of New Jersey says it has uncovered a water testing scandal in Audubon, Camden County. The Department of Environmental Protection has put the quality control laboratories out of business. The DEP says the company conducted water tests for several South Jersey communities, but provided them with erroneous and in some cases falsified results that, according to the state. The company's certification has been suspended, and if it loses its appeal, it will lose its certification permanently. Last year, the waters off the Jersey coast were indeed troubled waters. Now, with the summer of '88 approaching, what is being done to solve the problem? Action News New Jersey correspondent Norma Mushanek looks at the past and the future in part 1 of her special report, Troubled Waters.
Summer at the Jersey Shore did mean the living was easy. The biggest worries were sunburn and hot sand. But the summer of '87 drastically changed that.
Attention, Baylor. Swimming is restricted today. Please get out of the water.
July 17th, the Bay Beaches and Wildwood are closed for fecal coliform bacteria. July 28th, the first of what will be hundreds of dead dolphins washes up on the beach at Longport. August 14th, syringes and hospital waste are brought in with the tide on Long Beach Island. August 18th, 1 million gallons of untreated sewage is flushed into the coastal waters at Deal. August 20th, Atlantic City orders all of its beaches closed because of excessive levels of fecal bacteria. September 7th, Labor Day. Ocean City ends its summer season with tar washing up on its beaches. In all, a nightmare for shore businesses.
Well, business started to go down to all the people around here. People stopped making reservations.
The problems along the shore not only washed away the fun for many beachgoers, it also washed away profits for people who make their living from the tourist trade.
Once or twice, you know, it can happen, but if it happens again, I think it's going to cause quite a problem to the tourist industry.
Tourism is the second largest industry in New Jersey. Last year, 30 million people visited the shore, spending more than $8 billion. In Southern Ocean County, where some of the worst pollution occurred in 1987, the Chamber of Commerce is doing everything it can to make sure the tourists come back.
We've increased our advertising budget. We've actually tripled it. And we're going after, we're advertising North Jersey, Philadelphia, New York markets. We've started an 800 number.
And in the wake of last year's wave of pollution came a flood of response from politicians.
Many of you know about the 14-point plan that I've promulgated, costing the state over $200 million to make sure that our beaches and our oceans are clean.
There are currently dozens of bills at the federal level and at least 36 in the New Jersey State House aimed at stopping shore pollution, including bills to ban all ocean sludge dumping, spend $120 million to upgrade storm drainage systems, electronically track hospital waste, and float a blimp over the shore to watch for polluters. Environmentalists say the impending legislation is a step in the right direction, but what's needed is action.
There's still ocean dumping of sewage sludge. There's still legal dumping of acid waste. There's still legal burning of wood off our coast.
Tomorrow night we'll look at the debate over the health effects of last year's pollution and whether the water will be safe for the summer of '88. I'm Nora Mushanek, Channel 6 Action News at the Jersey Shore.
Still to come on Action News tonight, it's a low-scoring night at the Vet as the Phillies host the Cincinnati Reds. Don Tonelson has highlights, and the Police Athletic League honors some people who have made major league contributions to the youth of Philadelphia. Those stories and Dave Roberts with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast when Action News continues.
Nissan hard-body trucks are put together the way truck people want a truck put together. And now Nissan has put something else together, hard-body trucks and cash. For a limited time, you can get from $500 to $700 cash back from Nissan on hard-body trucks. Two-wheel drives, four-wheel drives, long beds, king cabs, the works. So if you're looking for a tough truck, now's the time to get yourself a hard-body and a fistful of dollars.
Prism brings you greetings from Hollywood. 2 months for the price of one. Through the miracle of cable TV, Prism brings great movies right into your home. Hollywood's greatest hits like Dirty Dancing and The Secret of My Success. Plus, only Prism gives you exclusive home team home games in the comfort of your living room. Call this number and order Prism, and you'll get 2 months for the price of one.
Hello?
Operators are on duty now, so call this number today. Prism, movies, 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 and exclusive home team sports.
I wasn't sure where to get my muffler fixed.
There's a reason Midas is #1.
Everyone promised low prices.
It isn't just because we offer the economizer for $20.
Some said they had a guarantee.
Or that it comes with a Midas guarantee.
There had to be a difference.
There's a difference because no matter how little you pay for an economizer, you still get service from the one company no one can beat.
The difference was Midas.
Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
And now, direct from your Chevrolet dealer, it's the Spring Break Price Break, and that means great price breaks. $400 cash back on Cavalier, $500 on Spectrum, Corsica, and Beretta, $750 on Celebrity and Camaro, and up to $1,200 cash back on Nova. Plus $500 cash back on selected full-size pickups, S10 pickups, and Blazers, all in stock and ready to roll now during the Spring Break Price Break at your Tri-State Chevy dealer.
Donald Regan's Kiss and Tell book, For the Record, is on the record tonight. It has arrived at your local bookstore. And as we've already reported, the memoirs of the former White House Chief of Staff tell of the Reagans' dedication to astrology. But today, President Reagan offered a denial when asked if he would continue to let astrology dictate his schedule.
I can't, because I never did.
Later, White House spokesman Marlon Fitzwater said the president misunderstood the question, and in fact, Mrs. Reagan is still consulting an astrologer. On another matter, President Reagan has reportedly said for the first time that he would not consider pardons for the Iran-Contra defendants until after their trials are complete. Syndicated columnist Carl Rowan says Reagan told him, quote, "You don't pardon people before they've been convicted." The Iran-Contra trial will most likely not end until after the Reagans or President Reagan has left office. The Intermediate-Range Nuclear Missile Treaty signed by Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev is facing trouble in the United States Senate tonight. Senate Majority Leader Robert Byrd today canceled debate on the treaty 2 days before that debate was scheduled to begin. A serious superpower dispute has arisen over issues of verification, on-site inspection, and futuristic weapons. Senate leaders say the problems could be resolved this week when Secretary of State Schultz meets Soviet officials in Geneva. in Seattle, Washington tonight. The verdict is guilty in the nation's first death by product tampering case. A federal jury convicted Stella Nickel of lacing Excedrin capsules with cyanide, killing her husband. She had planted the spiked capsules on a store shelf to make her husband's murder look like a random killing. A woman Nickel did not know was also killed. It is the first conviction under federal product tampering laws adopted after the Chicago Tylenol killings in 1982. Who could forget the dramatic rescue of Jessica McClure from a Texas well last year? Well, it was a similar scene last night in Bellingham, Washington. A 13-month-old boy tumbled down a 7-foot abandoned septic tank and became trapped. Anxious relatives stood by and watched as rescuers dug their way to the boy. And finally, a narrow chamber was completed and a rescue worker squeezed his way in. Moments later, he emerged, the little boy in his arms, uninjured except for some minor scratches.
What would you expect to pay for a car with this much excitement? That's loaded with standard features, plus has a longer wheelbase, bigger engine, and longer warranty than its import competition. 13, 14,000? Guess again. This is Grand Am from your Pontiac Pace Centers. Grand Am prices start at under $10,000. Plus, for a limited time, you can save up to $2,000 direct from Pontiac on your new Grand Am. Hurry to your Pontiac Pace Centers and see why Pontiac outsells every import year after year.
That's our dad. He's having problems again.
We've got problems again.
No baseball.
No picnic. No trip to the zoo.
If you've got better things to do with your time, buy a Toro. If you've got better things to do with your money, this Toro's on sale.
So if you know anybody who'd like to take us to a ball game?
Or maybe the zoo. Would you like to go?
Haven't you done without a Toro long enough?
Every Mother's Day, it's the same thing. Flowers, candy, a scarf.
Wise up, kids. Your mom wants a new set of wheels, and the best time to buy is right now, because May is Ford month. You'll save on Taurus, Tempos, T-Birds, and Escorts. You can even test drive the new Ford Probe. So see your Quality Plus Ford dealer today. And eat your vegetables.
Big savings on Ford cars, now at your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
It's the organized crime of the 80s, and they're killing at a record pace. The next Oprah Winfrey Show, we'll take a look at the threat of gang violence in your neighborhood. Gang members say there's no way to stop them from taking over. Police say it's an all-out war in the streets. How can we stop them from taking over, or can we? A hot debate on the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
Watch the Oprah Winfrey Show tomorrow at 4.
Phillies went up against Cy Young again tonight at Veterans Stadium.
Danny Jackson comes over from the American League, and that's exactly who he looks like against the Phils, Jim. No mystery to the storyline tonight at the Vet. The Reds' Danny Jackson remains red hot, and the Phillies' offense goes back in the deep freeze. The only run Jackson needed came in the 6th on the Cal Daniels RBI. Phil's really wasted a strong effort from David Palmer. There he strikes out Daniels, and Cal is none too happy with the Lehigh Valley's Frank Pulley. It goes on, nose to nose. And after they pull him away, that substitute manager Tommy Helms, regular and now suspended manager Pete Rose would just look on impassively from his perch in the press box as he hopes that Cal keeps it under control. Meanwhile, he had to enjoy watching Danny Jackson two-hit the Phils for the second time in a week. Good D there to get Chris James, who had an earlier single for one of the two hits. The other came from Mike Young. This was a pinch hit in the 9th inning, but they wasted the double because Jackson gets the complete game shutout with more good defense right here. Is Danny Jackson that good, that Cy Young good, or are the Phillies' bats that feeble? We talked to Lee Lino.
Well, he painted the inside part of the plate pretty good, and he had a running sinker that it stayed down and away. I'd say he pitched a pretty good ball game. At least the numbers indicate so.
On the scoreboard, Giants winning in Pittsburgh after an almost 2-hour rain delay. Houston has beaten the Mets. The Cards have beaten the Padres. How about the American League? Chicago wins. Jerry Royce his 200th career victory. Milwaukee and Boston are winning. Tonight in Detroit, the Red Wings are trying to avoid digging a deep, deep hole against the defending champion Oilers. If they were to lose, they'd go down 3-1 in the best of 7, and the Oilers take a 3-1 lead. What a setup, Wayne Gretzky to Glenn Anderson. But the Red Wings battle back on their home ice. Superb passing here. Bob Probert makes it 3-2 right there. Now in overtime, as you can see, all knotted up. Well, as expected, regular NHL officials did go ahead and work that game tonight after last night's stranger-than-strange situation at the Meadowlands. Amateur linesmen and an amateur referee, the NHLers had not come on the ice. In sense, Coach Jim Schoenfeld was allowed to coach. His suspension stayed by a court order. New Jersey won, and the two coaches had different reactions to the officials.
It's a shame that we had to suffer for a problem that was created by the New Jersey coaching staff and exaggerated by the NHL officials.
Well, I thought they obviously missed a few things, but I don't think it was favored one side or the other. And I think for three fellas that were thrown into a difficult situation, they did an admirable job last night.
That was the scene when Jim Schoenfeld was not nearly as calm as he was when interviewed today. He went after Koharski after Friday night's loss to the Bruins. He was suspended, again got a court order, staying the suspension. Don Koharski and Jim Schoenfeld, part of a bizarre incident in sports history. Speaking of the bizarre, here's the update on the Billy Martin topless bar brawl in Arlington, Texas. Employees of that restaurant now say that Billy Martin took it outside. There were words exchanged and then a fight on the parking lot. But Arlington police say that Billy's version of being jumped in the restroom, they still think may be correct. Although they say in one account he says 3 men jumped him, in another 2. Stay tuned for more on the Yankees saga. Finally, the good news just keeps on coming for John Chaney's Temple Owls. John pondering the future and all those tough opponents upcoming on a night they honored his team for the season just passed. And at tonight's occasion, it was announced that Temple, on December 10th in Atlantic City, Jim, will play the defending national champion Kansas Jayhawks at Convention Hall. Going to be quite a night, December 10th.
They're already a 6.5-point favorite. Still to come on Action News tonight, Dave Roberts with an AccuWeather forecast when we continue in just a moment.
The Porsche 944. The Volvo 740 Turbo Wagon. To you, they're two completely different cars. But to a radar gun, they look exactly alike.
Brought to you by Volvo, a car company you can believe in.
American business can save millions of dollars every year with the UPS Next Day Air Letter. Unlike other companies which frequently charge up to $14, UPS, because we're so efficient, charges only $8.50. And we guarantee overnight delivery to every address, coast to coast. The UPS Next Day Air Letter, the super saver of overnight letters.
Crowley's been foreman here since I was a girl. He loves oranges. And only one orange juice, Tropicana Pure Premium Homestyle. It's pure juice with no water added or taken away. But what makes it special is sweet, juicy bits of orange. Crowley says it has the taste and feel of fresh squeezed. Your choice, Pure Premium Homestyle with juicy bits of orange or Tropicana Pure Premium. You just can't pick a better juice.
You tell him, Mary.
What would you get if you crossed an Oldsmobile like this with an Oldsmobile like this? You'd get an Oldsmobile that really cooks.
Get a deal that really cooks on the Quad 4 Cutlass Calais at your Olds Connection dealer today.
He is ready. Dave Roberts with the AccuWeather forecast. David? Just as AccuWeather said, we had some shower activity moving throughout the Delaware Valley. Came between 8 and about 10:30 tonight. Most of the shower activity is now moving out of the way. You may have a spritz or two hanging on until midnight, depending on where your location is. All in all, that activity is over as cloud cover is coming in. Behind it, there's still some more thunderstorm activity in front of this frontal system, which will come through later tomorrow afternoon, or I should say later tomorrow night, on into Wednesday morning. In front of it, late this afternoon, Cleveland, Ohio, 70-mile-per-hour winds, thunderstorm activity, 55-mile-per-hour winds in Butler, Pennsylvania. So there's plenty of action out there. We do not expect any of that severity, but we do expect the possibility of some thunderstorm activity or thunder shower activity come tomorrow, about a 50% chance of it, in front of the frontal system. When the frontal system comes through, yet as we said, late Tuesday on into Wednesday, more possibility of precipitation with that system. That's the weather scenario for the next couple of days. The rest of the country is fairly placid all day and through this evening. So the call from AccuWeather for tomorrow, for this evening, well, we're still on the shaky side. 43 degrees, that was our low. 71 degrees, that was our high. Let us show you the 11 o'clock numbers. 53 degrees, present temperature reading. Relative humidity, 68%. The barometer is falling, 30.03. Winds remain out of the south at 12 miles per hour. The water temperature is 57. We check in with 53 degrees in the northeast, 54 outside the station, also on City Line, 5-3 at the airport and Camden. Things cooling off a little bit with the precipitation. Tonight, just some clouds hanging on, 48 to 53. Partly cloudy for the rush hour in the morning. We start out at about 58 degrees, should get up to about 74. Mixture of clouds and sun, more clouds we anticipate than sun. Thunder shower or thunderstorm activity is a possibility. Wednesday, a mix of sun and clouds, 70 degrees. 70 degrees also with some sunshine on Thursday, 72 on Friday, sun and clouds, 68 degrees on Saturday with sunshine. The exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast. Jim? And finally tonight, David, Center City, Philadelphia was the scene as one of the area's most valuable friends of youth honored its most valuable volunteer. It was the 1988 PAL Award dinner at the Franklin Plaza Hotel. Nearly 1,600 people like ABC's Jim McKay, former Sixers coach Billy Cunningham, and Channel 6's Tug McGraw turned out to watch Robert Levy get this year's PAL Award for his outstanding record of service to youngsters and the community. Honors tonight to a true pal of youth in Center City, Philadelphia. Nightline is next on Channel 6. Action News continues at 6 a.m. and then again at noon with Chris Wagner, Robin Garrison, and Harry Martin. Now for Don Tollefson, Dave Roberts, and the entire Action News team, I'm Jim Gardner. Have a good night tonight.